Greetings, golfers, and welcome to the world premiere episode of Inside the Ropes, a deeply personal journey with Scottie Walnuts. I'm your host, Scottie Walnuts, and it's so exciting to be here. We've got a beautiful course to look at today, but before we dive right in, just some housekeeping items. Since this is the first episode, first make sure to check out the Inside the Ropes intro video in the description so you can find out more about who I am and how we got here. And second, just some clarity around the settings we use. We use TGC Tours Platinum Tour settings for our rounds, which is Legend Swing difficulty with all the Provision tools disabled. And we use a default golf ball, so no boosts there or anything, so it should allow for the purest possible experience, and you'll get a sense of how the course plays on the difficulty played by the best players in the world. And if you enjoy the showcase, remember to smash that like and subscribe button and leave a comment to let me know what you thought of the course and the round. So without any further ado, let's dive right in and talk about our course for today. We're playing Fox and Hound by the designer Retteach, who also goes by Troy. And Troy shared with us that the name for his course was inspired by his favorite local pub, which sadly recently shut down. And we'll come across this in the community where courses aren't just golf courses, they're tributes. And so we have a pub inspiring this one. And I've also heard of courses being inspired by dogs and cats and real life locations and landscapes. And you can start to get the sense that golf course design is so much more than just golf course design. So I'll read the description submitted to TGC Tours from the designer himself, and he says, "The Fox and Hound was my backup course I was considering to enter in the CC contest for 2025, but went in a different direction. A great playing course, hopefully at the CC level, with 4 tee and 4 pin sets that all play well. Greens are default at 181. So CC generally means it will be on the more forgiving side of things, and that we'll find out for ourselves whether that's the case. As mentioned in the description, the course has 4 playable tee sets measuring from 6,865 yards at the shorter end up to 7,510 yards from the tips. We'll be getting out there from the tips on pin 3. Buckle up and enjoy the show. All right. Let's hop right in here. So, we're set up at Fox and Hound with tips, pin 3, medium winds to the east, default conditions, which is firm, and fast on the greens. Let's head to the first tee of this reteach course. First hole, 402-yard par 4. Moving a little bit left to right. I think we're going to choke a tee shot and just get her out there on the fairway. Spin a little on us, but a fairway and a green to start the round here. And a nice little par 4 that opens the round. Pulled the heck out of that putt. That had no chance. Fairway and a green and a 2-putt par. That's just about how that hole would be played in the textbooks. Fortunately, we could drop the birdie. Slightly longer par 4 going the other way, right to left. Generous fairways off the tee. Remember the description said CC difficulty. That often means generous landing areas off of the tee. Probably right about where you want to be. 26 left, 50-degree wedge. Eight feet for birdie. Nailed that one. .552 yard par 5. It's downhill, and there's even a little tailwind. We could get bold and hit a power drive here. And yet there's wisdom in even just a choked drive, just to get her out there. We'll still get a decent clip with the downhill and the tailwind. Hey, what's up, Brad? Welcome back, sir. That's right on out there. That leaves us 195 into the par 5. Beautiful par 5 here. Let's just stop and take a look at what's happening here. Running along some sort of river by the looks of it. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous green placement. See what's going on across the some cabins. Sailboat there, little boat on the river. Yeah. Wouldn't mind summering in one of these cottages along this waterway. Yeah, cool stuff. Love that kind of thing. I'd say good luck to the Rangers, Corey, but I wouldn't want Brad to take it personally. Not our best shot there. Not our best shot there, but we can still get up and down for birdie. Try a spinner here. Is that a good idea? Good shot. Should release a bit. It came out of the light rough on a downhill, but we're still gonna have a tricky 14-footer to convert the birdie. Nails it. Hole that we didn't play especially well. Really is that second shot. That was just not a good shot. 153-yard par 3 over some water here. Again, another beautiful hole. Beautiful hole. back at the tee from behind the green. Beautiful. It's probably the tightest pin to the water, but it has a bit of a backboard. Gotta be careful with this though. Maybe choked up on a 9-iron is the play. We hit our shot. Did we calculate? It's not bad. You don't want to cut it much closer than that. 18 feet for birdie. Nails it. Yeah, he really does, Rob. Rob saying Troy always brings great views and planting. Absolutely, we're seeing it already. We're four holes into this, and we've seen it already. Another shorter par four here, 385 yards. Tough pin. Gonna go out on not much of a limb and say that this pin 3 here is probably the toughest pin on this green. I get it on top there. A drive puts us in that awkward spot. We might want to try and just leave ourselves that 100-yard shot, which would be about a 3-wood off the tee. Well, that's about what we intended. 115. Still a tricky shot though, and you gotta be careful not to spin it back too much if that's. Yeah. We'll take it. We'll take it. That's a tricky pin. 12 feet. It's gonna just nudge to the right at first and then straighten out. Yeah. Alright, heading to the 6th hole here. Uphill, a little bit into the wind though. Affected by a few yards. Full 4-iron. Probably not the worst play. Nobody told me the doctor was making house calls. Dr. Chapinski knocking on the door on the 6th hole. Not just knocking, but entering on the 6th hole for birdie. Let's go. All right, longer par 4, 473, but it's downhill and it's with the wind. I think even a choked, safer tee shot will get us a nice distance here. It was calculated, Brian. 50-degree wedge in here from 126. Showcasing the quad perfect, says Adam. Back on the tee shot there. Once in a while we get lucky. Glad you like it, Coach. Even a quad perfect on the putt. That is not something that we do particularly often. And in some way it's not even a good thing because I'm basically planning for a slight overswing, so we're gonna par the seventh. We're gonna par the seventh. There is definitely a temptation to power drive here. There's definitely a temptation. Relatively generous. It's not like open wide, but and then with the uphill, that extra yardage could be the difference between getting home and two or not. Obvious downsides are bunker on the right and rough on the left, but then you just play it as a three-shotter and you're no worse off. I think that's the play. Any quad perfect power drive enjoyers with us? Any quad perfect power drive enjoyers with us tonight? Okay. Distance to get home after the power drive, no problem. We pulled it a little bit though, so we'll have a bit of a tricky chip. This is a little tricky little one. I mean, it's not like impossible by any means, but it makes you start wondering, about flops and super flops. So it's gonna kick off this. There is a lot of room to work with that. I think it remains a chip. I think it remains a chip. Yeah. Okay. Pull up and down for the birdie on the par 5. I think this is power drive. We got 487 on the par 4, but I mean, we could get this drive. We could get this drive right on out there if we could get if this done adequately, gets us a wedge in probably on a long par 4. It's not awful. It's gonna work actually. Little 380 for the kid. You got it, Brian. 5 feet now. It's exactly what we said. We could take a wedge in. We took a wedge in. Now we've got 5 feet for birdie on a long par four. Like, this is it. Yeah, wasn't even a great putt, but we were close enough in that we birdie, and we go out in seven. We go out in seven. Gonna just pop into the clubhouse for a second, and back nine coming up. Bountiful clubhouse. Stop there. Making the turn. Making the turn at -7, and we have a drivable, excuse me, drivable par four to start the back nine. First cut, not great, but not awful either. Definitely is the kind of hole that you want to take advantage of. And we'll also just stop for a brief moment and once again gaze out over the water. Yeah, I would have no problem spending a summer in one of these cottages. Looking back towards the tee. An inviting little drivable. You know, it's CC difficulty, and with that pin, that's very inviting. But that said, and you saw it out that, we a couple of yards shorter, and we're risking water. If you pull it even just a little, this bunker's going to catch it. So, but if you hit your shot, you're going to get, you're going to get rewarded. Beautiful little hole all around. Tricky 7-footer here for birdie. We haven't, but worth mentioning yet, Troy. One of the number of Canadian course designers out there. Tasty little tart right there with a 3-wood. One of these sort of awkward putts though, where you kind of almost go up and over and down, and then it straightens out. "34 feet for eagle." It was never really high enough, but we'll take an undramatic. We'll take an undramatic 2-putt birdie there any day. "198 yard par 3 protected by bunkers on the right." Let's see, probably there'd be a pin here, a pin here. I don't even want to consider the possibility that there's like a. So that would be crazy, right? But this is our pin 3 right here from 198. What's it gonna be? Choked 5-iron, regular 5-iron. Squeeze a choked 5-iron, I think, is the play. I almost couldn't coach. Tug that one. Tug that one. That one's just gonna trail off. Not an awful lead, a little uphill chip here. We already have one chip in on the round. We make it 2. Not here, at least. Good effort, though. Good effort. We'll take the par there. We'll take the par. All right, length here, par 4 again, 489 yards. It's downhill, but it kind of snakes right to left, which increases the actual yardage required. All to say is power drive in play. I would say yes, it is. Yeah, that's gonna work. Should feed right into the middle in the fairway. Mm-hmm. Ball below the feet there. Allowed for it. I'll take that 8 feet for birdie. Yeah, we'll take that on the long par 4 every time. 559-yard par 5, 14th. Moves right to left. Green accessible. Again, this is by the designer's own evaluation, a CC design. It's gonna be accessible in many cases. Pull a power drive. Could have been worse. Although it didn't get up to the fairway or anything, but got through the tree. Not sure we realistically have a shot that gets there, but well, maybe try a 3-wood. Sometimes not the worst thing just to dump it in a greenside bunker. Already on the par 5 14th. 4 holes left. Am I getting greedy for even considering this power drive? That was the right thing to do. If we power drive that and even just a notch it closed and we're in that bunker, or the trees get it, or that was the responsible thing to do. Got some backboard to work with and some headwind, which is gonna help us stop the ball. And feet right in behind. During the birdie. $173 par 3. Slight little pin there. You kind of play it off the right, but you still don't have a lot of room. Have to really maneuver one in there. That's calculated. Mostly. Yeah. 11 feet. Yeah. All right, we only got 2 holes left here. Longest par 4 we've seen, 503 yards, moves left to right. Another green perched near the water. Giving you Beautiful views. You could forget that you still have to hit 503 yards and 4 shots here. So beautiful. Six degrees on the power drive does not ordinarily get you in a great spot. We kind of caught a break just by having a clear shot at all here. 169 from the heavy. Gonna roll out a ways when it lands. Might just be a full 8. Ball's not gonna have much spin on it. It's gonna, yeah, chase down there, but not a bad shot overall, considering. Like the par. That's a tough par 4. Final hole. Look at that, beautiful. Is that our 18th hole? That's what it looks like. Yeah, that. What a gorgeous golf course this has been. Fox and Hound. It's 18th hole running right along the water here. So of course that's going to reward you if you hit your shots, but danger lurks if you try and bite off too much or you get a little too cocky, you know? It'll penalize you. Nice looking clubhouse back there. We'll take a closer look at that when we're off the tee. 398 to finish. I just want to leave ourselves a wedge in here. Little quad perfect on the 87% to get us out there. Interesting observation, coach. Yeah, we could ask the designer. Maybe we'll do some sort of follow up with the designer. And on the 18th, Heels comes in with the raid. Welcome in, Heels. We're just finishing up here. We're on the 18th hole. And we're just taking a look now at the little clubhouse that Troy's built. Beautiful. It's been a beautiful golf course. Fox and Hound. Let's see if we can finish it off with a birdie. Just a scooch on the high side. We're going to two-putt the par. Well, why don't we actually make it before we say that? And thus concludes our round. Let's take one last look at the scorecard here. $13 under, 7 under out, 6 under in, 13 birdies, 5 pars. Watching another edition of Inside the Ropes, a deeply personal journey with Scottie Walnuts. If you enjoyed the show, remember to hit the like and subscribe button and leave a comment to let me know what you thought about the round. Remember, we're live most evenings on Twitch with golf and sometimes other sport and story games, and we film these episodes in front of a live studio audience on Twitch every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Link in the description. TM high and let 'em fly.